Ricky B, my brother.
What's up, buddy?
How
How
you
you?
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, doing well. When our intro went by, I saw the picture of the statue. It made me think of the Sly Stallone Shop Instagram giving away the opportunity to take a picture with Sly in front of the
Oh
statue in
yeah,
Philly.
yeah. I
There are
see.
no words.
I see the rules are. I see the rules are starting to come out. You got to. I just read today that you got to send something like to three different people to
Uh-huh.
follow. People who are not following the Slice Alone shop. You got to send something like that, and there'll be more coming. So you know,
So it does have to be people that are not already following, correct?
right? Three different people.
Yeah, that one's going to be tough for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Almost everybody I know is following them because everybody I know is following Sly. But
Right.
I'll reach out to somebody, whoever. I'll see. I'll do
Hey,
it to
and
some stranger.
yeah, right. Speaking of the Sly Stallone shop, we talked about this prior um, with our buddy Tony D going down to the Sly Stallone shop, and I watched his little video clip. But hey, congratulations, Tony D. You know,
Yeah. Good little Irish
Got
name. You see that name there? Vincenzo Nunzio.
I know, right?
Vincenzo Nunzio Di Gennaro. Look at him. Little Guido coming into the world. Welcome to Rocky Land, pal. That was pretty
There's a
cool.
little meatball.
I know. Did you see that little onesie was about this big?
That's awesome.
It is.
The
It is
little
so cool.
the little meatball.
Yep. Yep. I'm glad they need to get some more kids things, I think, the shop. You
Yeah.
know, my niece had a son. His name is Adrian, and
Oh, nice.
he's I think 6 months. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
She lives in New Jersey. Um, but I would like to send him a shirt or something, or swim trunks,
Yeah.
or a bathrobe. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Absolutely.
Not everybody can make their own stuff like that wonderful Shamrock Meats jacket you got behind your shoulder there. So we gotta rely on the shop.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Well, you can
So I
always
like that
ask.
what's behind you there. It's got a little dedication, which is obviously the whole tribute show today is on Mr. Burt Young, and your stuff behind you is awesome and classic. And I mean, you look at it, you instantly see Paulie. Good stuff back
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that was my dedication, our dedication to Bert, Paulie, Panino for tonight's telecast. Our show. Um, truly, truly gonna completely taken by surprise. You know, and
Yeah, I mean, when you get up there in that 80 range, I hate to sound, the tip of like, I mean, that's a good life. That's a good life. Somebody told me tomorrow, hey, you're going to go when you're 83, 84. All right. I'll handle that.
yeah,
70, 74, 72. That's too young for me.
yeah,
But,
that's
uh,
still
but,
young.
but it was still, I mean, well, it was still young because it wasn't like he was like, you see some people now that are 80, 84, 85 years old, and they're looking pretty bad, and they're looking like, oh geez,
Mhm.
when are they going to go? He
Right.
didn't look like that. I mean, the last time you
No,
saw him, he looked like he was doing okay.
that's why it took me by surprise was because, what
Yeah.
was one of the last pictures? He was in the pool, or he had like the whipped cream or something, or
Yeah.
the bubbles,
Yeah. The
or
bubbles in the pool. Yeah.
there's been a few pictures of him, and that shocked me, and it hit me kind of like it hit me with Jimmy Buffett. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, it's like a death in the family again. You know,
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, he was, this one here was not very recent. I'd say a year or two, but I mean,
Mhm.
recent enough. And, he's probably
Looks good.
80 there. Yeah.
It looks really good.
Here is where he was with Sly at Rocky on Broadway, and that was a few years ago. I know when that
Right.
came out on Broadway, that was a while back.
Yep.
But yeah, but we know him as right here. That's what we know him as. Look at that
Yeah.
face. Oh my god. Yeah, but it was sad to see. I was putting my phone down. I had to get up early, setting my alarm on the phone, and then I see the thing on there. The message that somebody posted,
Mhm.
and went on there and I saw that. I said, "Oh man, it's like it's it's sad. It's sad to see one of them go."
Yeah, it is. And I was like, I don't even want to say this out loud, but I was saying to Deb, I'm like, first Jimmy, now Bert. You know who I'm talking about. You better
Yeah,
hide.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's not
Just
happening this
hide.
soon. That'll be all
Just
right.
hide.
That'll be fine. He's in better shape than us, and we're 20 years younger.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But still,
But
just hide.
I know. Oh, I mean, it's trust me. You think about it, because it is creeping up. You never know.
Right.
But yeah, Mr. Burt Young. I mean, 83 years old. That's he acted in films, either TV or film, from 1969
Wow.
to this year, from 1969, and he did 119 films, just
That's
films.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
I didn't count the TV shows because there was too many. Because you
Well,
know how it was back then. TV shows they did, Rockford Files and Beretta, and they were guests, little spots
right.
on like Sly did. Sly did Kojak, and all over the place. But
But what's funny,
119 films.
what's funny though is that I just thinking about this because I remember seeing him on MASH a
Oh,
couple
you do?
times. Yeah, yeah, and Sly's filmography gives him a credit for being on MASH.
Oh, really?
Which I don't ever recall, but he could have been like one of the soldiers in a bed. Who
Yeah,
knows,
yeah.
But Bert was, I remember he was like front and center on MASH. He was a character he had a talking, speaking role, and I do
Okay.
remember him. I do remember him being there.
Well,
So
this is the picture. Um, okay, so I see where he. All right, I'll get this up here in a moment. I didn't, wasn't thinking about. I didn't know he was on MASH, so caught
okay.
me by surprise there.
Well,
But
there was
I'll
one of my trivia questions. So
get,
nah,
see that. That happens that
see,
quickly. There he goes.
see
All
how
right,
I
that's
am.
next. Send. All right. See, we're a work in progress here. We work as we go on the show.
That's right. Hey, you know what?
It's
We have fun.
you have
We
to,
have
right?
fun with it.
But yeah, I mean, man, that's a lot of films, a lot of TV shows. Like I said, he did the whole 70s. Let's see here. You got MASH, Beretta, Rockford File. He did All in the Family, did Miami Vice. That was obviously in the
He did
80s.
he did all in the family?
That's what it said on his biography.
Oh my
I don't,
god.
I didn't watch All in the Family like every episode. I did see a handful, but it wasn't like it was one of those shows where I always watched. It just,
Okay.
I mean, it was, I was young. That show, went over my head more than I really thought it did at the time.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, yeah. But I mean, because I remember watching that, and then the Jeffersons, and
yep,
all the
yep,
spin-offs of it. But I,
oh, yep.
it's just funny
So
because
here's
there
your
he
scene
is.
from Matt.
Yep.
There he goes. That's funny.
Yeah.
But
I just
some of the
don't
bigger
recall.
films, he did out of his 119, it was back when he had a bit part in Chinatown with Jack
Yep.
Nicholson. He had a part in The Gambler with James Caan.
Okay.
And then, of course, Rocky. He did all the Rockies. Rocky
Yes.
to Balboa. Him, Sly, and Tony Burton were the only ones that did Rocky to Balboa to do every film.
True.
And then, do you remember the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
Oh, yeah. In the Triple Indy. How could you forget?
I know, right? How funny is that? But yeah, he was in that. Remember, he was the driver, the driver bodyguard, whatever.
Yeah, he would like just take like steel bars and bend them and
Yeah,
take things and just crush them.
yeah. Remember they were in the college
Yeah.
bar, and he's like, "I don't get mad. He gets mad," and he like crushes the napkin dispenser.
Right. Yeah. 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 Yep.
But yeah, that was good. He was in that. He was in that movie, The Pope of Greenwich Village, with Mickey
Okay.
Rourke and
Okay.
Eric Roberts. Played a mob
Oh,
boss.
I 6 Shades of Kevin Bacon here just hit me. Is that what it's called? 6 Shades of Kevin
I think
Bacon?
so.
Okay.
6 degrees.
So
6 degrees.
6 degrees. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Burt was on MASH, and I know I'm going off topic here, but
There's a shock.
the yeah,
We should know by now. Come on.
I know, right? Hot Lips Houlihan,
Okay. Loretta Swift.
who, but from the movie,
Oh, Sally Kellerman.
played in Back to School.
That's right.
Yeah.
She was
See,
the
it
dean.
takes me
Yeah.
a minute. Yeah.
That's right.
She was the English professor.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
like, what do you say to her? Hey, call me when you have no class or something like
That would be a fun episode to try to do a 6 degree separation from, we could pick what Sly, say for sake of
Yeah.
argument, who's connected to him, but obviously he would be easy to do. He's worked with so many,
Right.
but somebody a little more obscure, I hate to say obscure because a very good career like a Burt Young or Talia
Right.
Shire or somebody,
Right. But
would be kind
wow,
of fun.
that hurt a little. But I just thought about it. I'm like, Sally Kellerman was in Back to School, and Burt Young was in Back to School, and
Yep.
she played the original Hot Lips in MASH, and he was in MASH. So,
Well, to connect the movie with the show, Gary Berghoff, who played Radar in the film, also played Radar in the TV series.
okay, so yeah, I mean,
so
wow.
There's your connection. There's your connection. There you go.
Wow.
Sally Kellerman, MASH, work with Gary Berghoff, Burt Young. There you go. That's only 3. It wasn't bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, but he did a lot. No. And then of course he was also a painter.
Yes.
He enjoyed painting and writing and kind of a Renaissance man, really. Yeah.
Right.
But everybody that I've spoken to that has ever met the man, not one person has ever said rude or standoffish or, just nothing negative to say about that man. Every single person has had something good to say.
Yeah, which is, completely kind of opposite of the character he played in Rocky, but
exactly.
but to look at him, you can see through the gruff exterior of Paulie.
Yeah.
And you can see a kind-hearted gentleman.
Yeah. It's almost just like the Paulie character.
Yeah.
You see him here and you got to look through it. You got to see past it, which you kind of like to see him there. He was always by Rocky's side and Rocky was always by his side.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I had a friend of mine. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him, but a friend of mine did and got me that signed for me.
That's awesome.
That's about as close as I'll get to him, unfortunately, but that's okay. And I know yours is signed back there. That's a nice one there. That's big too.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity as well, although it would have been quite a dream come true. But yeah, that's it's assigned and it came with a certificate of authenticity. Very good friend got that for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody I've spoken to though, and obviously you see on Rocky Files and on some other Instagram pages, a lot of people are posting pictures that they took with him when they met him, and every picture he's smiling. He doesn't seem, aggravated to do it. He was just a one of a kind man. Everybody that's ever spoken about him said how kind he was and how loving he was, and a family man, and an old Italian. He was born in New York in 1940.
Corona, New York.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it? In Queens?
Yeah, it's Queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know. I'm like Corona. I've never heard of Corona, New York. So
yeah, it's Queens. It's a part of Queens.
Okay. But, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's, and he somehow got the part of Paulie and took it from there. And
but what was he doing? What was he doing before he was acting? Trivia question.
Trivia time. Oh, I still got to make up my little jingle there. I only have this here. So trivia time. There you go. Nobody wants to hear me say trivia time. Before he acted at all, I believe he was in the Marines. He was in the Marines That was, yeah, because I don't know, well, if he was acting 69 to 23, yeah, he was in the Marines in the 50s. And that's where
So
he boxed.
he was in the Marines from 57 to 59.
Yep.
Sorry for my squinting.
So yeah, so when he got out of the Marines is when he, I guess, started to pursue acting, because that makes up with the timeline there. But he had a
But
decent
he had
record as a boxer in the Marines.
I was just about to say he had himself a hell of a record.
Yeah, yeah.
Is boxing.
I'm surprised he did not try to pursue. Maybe he did try to pursue it after. I couldn't find anything that said he tried to go pro or anything. But
Well, I did.
oh, okay, good.
Actually. So here's a question for you. As a boxer, as a Marine, do you have kind of an idea like what his record might have been?
I do know his record. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 32-2, correct?
Impressive.
Yeah,
Very impressive on both ends.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as a
I mean,
professional, do you know his record as you don't know his record as
no, I know, because I didn't even know he did pro.
okay, if you were to guess, take a guess.
I don't know how long he did. If I'm going to say 20-5, and
Boy,
I'm guessing.
you're damn close, buddy. You're
Am
damn
I?
close. 14-0
Oh, look at him!
is a professional boxer. Can you
Damn,
imagine?
nice.
Very
So does it
good,
say why?
Paulie.
Does it say why he stopped?
I couldn't find that information out. Um, you know, maybe he's got like Rocky said in Rocky 2, have you ever been hit in the 1,000 times in the face?
Sorry, that's a while.
Starts to
Yeah,
sting after a while.
that is the truth. I have to admit that. I mean, I didn't box nearly not long enough to have 14 fights or anything, and yeah, it doesn't feel good. That's for sure.
No, I mean,
But 14-0, man, that's pretty impressive.
that's very impressive. Very impressive.
See, so with
So,
all of these documentaries coming out, we're gonna have to have a Burt Young documentary. I'm hoping maybe our friend Derek Wayne Johnson could get on that. I don't know.
oh yeah, that would
Maybe
be awesome.
he could do that. I mean, he knows him. He had a bunch of pictures up of him, and
Mhm.
he oh my goodness, I'm losing my train of thought. He went with 40 Years of Rocky and King of the Underdogs. He had talked to him and
Right,
interviewed with him and stuff, whatnot. So he, you know, knows him, so to speak.
right.
So that would be, I think it'd be I'm not saying everybody in the world needs a documentary or biography, but if somebody has a life like he did, I don't see anything wrong with telling that story.
I
I
think
mean,
he's
like you
very
said,
deserving.
yeah,
Very
I mean,
deserving of
32
it.
and 2 is that, and then 14-0. I mean, and then there we go. Look at this guy. Look at him.
Dude's jacked. The dude is
Yeah,
jacked.
he's not playing around.
No.
So, I mean, I think it's better than later on when he said, I'm not going to use my hands anymore. I'm going
Yeah.
to break your hands so they don't work for you, Rocco.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of that, do you have a top 3 favorite Rocky or Paulie moment or Paulieism or a Paulie
Yeah, well, we were
saying?
saying about that for the show. I think it's a great idea to talk about it. Yeah, let's talk the scenes. Let's talk top 3 scenes. We'll bounce
Okay.
back and forth on that one,
Okay.
and obviously that one I think would be, one of them, because I mean it kind of comes to light the entire relationship on how frustrated and jealous Paulie is, how protective
Right.
Rocky is, what he did. Rocky could have demolished him in his living room, and he didn't. And then of course it turned and caused Adrian to say, "You want a roommate?"
Mhm.
Um, but he was at wit's end at that point. He just couldn't take. He felt everybody was getting a better life than him, and he's great acting scene, obviously by Burt Young. So yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes of him. The other two are a
Right.
little more whimsical, so they're a little less dark. So, how about you? What's one of yours?
You know, it's kind of obscure, but so before I retired from my job, every year, twice a year, we would have to put in the ice at the skating arena. Okay. So we do it in August, and it would be like 90 degrees out, and we're inside, and it's 18 degrees outside, or it's 18 degrees inside,
Inside.
And then we do it again in October. And
Right.
again, Octobers are typically very nice. It could be 70, 80.
Right.
You might even hit an occasional 90. And again, it's 18 degrees inside. So every year, and everybody knew it throughout my unit, throughout that I worked with.
Right.
I would always say every day, ice is stupid. People standing on ice are more stupid. And to this day, they still say it. They've never seen it. They've never seen the episode, but they never watched Balboa, but I mean, they still say it. My old boss still will text me when it comes to ice season. Ice is stupid.
Oh, man. Well,
So
one of my other ones, a little more heartfelt, is this scene here. Is when Paulie goes and kind of pours his heart out to Rocky on how much he really does love him and admires him, because he did always admire him, but he always felt like he was handed a short stick or something. But I love just that he's, people think I'm that you stand up for me, and if I want to step outside and be somebody else, I want to be you. I mean, that takes a lot for a man to say that to a man, and as a brother / brother-in-law. I just love the scene, and it just, and then of course, it's true Paulie fashion later on. Remember what I said about me and you? Never mind.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah. Oh man. So what else you got? What other Paulie scene?
Okay, so I'm gonna go to Rocky 4.
All right.
And this scene always cracks me up. I don't know why it does, but it's just a Paulie moment, when the Russian dictator or whatever he is there, the Russian diplomat, and they're up on the podium and they're going back and forth. And he says, and he's like, well, I can't remember what he originally said, but I'm the unsilent majority.
Yeah. He goes, yes. Insults.
Insults.
We don't keep people behind walls with guns.
Yeah. I'm the unsilent majority. Big mouth.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Tells Apollo, I don't sweat you. I mean, what are you out of your mind? It's like going up to Muhammad Ali. I don't sweat you.
Every time I see that, I just laugh, because it's like, oh my God, it's one of those uncouth moments, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with this other one here. The third one for me is this scene here where they're getting off the plane in Russia. My daughters always laugh at that scene because he gets off. Oh, this Russian won't go so bad, Rock. And then when he gets out and he starts to walk away, and I don't know why he starts walking towards nowhere, and he just goes knee deep, waist deep into snow, and he's like, oh. And that scene just makes me laugh, and it makes me, when I think of Paulie, I think of that scene because I remember the girls, they used to laugh so hard when that scene came up. And in true fashion, he's being Paulie. What are you planning to do? Grow reindeer around here?
No Rose Bowl game? You gotta complain.
Yeah, see, well, let's talk about your last moment so we can get into those quotes, because there's so many of them.
Oh my gosh. So my last one is again from Rocky Balboa. When he retires, and and I'm not going to be able to remember everything at the moment, but he's like, I got 2 watches. You gave me a watch.
Well, that whole scene leading up to that is awesome, because he first walks in and he's got the meat, puts the meat down on the bar, pours himself a drink. And remember the hostess comes over, Lil Marie.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, delivery's around back. He's like, I'm not a delivery driver. Would he have a reservation? What am I, a freaking Indian? Like,
I know, right?
And then Rocky comes over and says, yo, Paulie, what are you doing? Why? What happened to your eye? I punched it. Why? Needed to. He's out of his mind. He's so
I
crazy.
know. I know.
But yeah,
It's
those
great.
were those, and he brought those lines. Whether I don't know if they were, read for verbatim, or he improvised a little bit, or ad libbed a little bit. But he just, like you said, I got two watches,
I got
and
2 watches. You gave me a watch.
yeah, I mean, some of the lines and some of the quotes. I mean, you know, it's just he's unbelievable. Well,
Did you
remember when
did
he
you
goes,
ever
"What's that?"
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you ever see the deleted scenes on the Balboa DVD from the alley where after when Rocky chases Paulie out to the back alley
Yeah,
after he says, "What?" Did you ever see
yeah,
those deleted
yeah,
scenes?
yeah,
Oh my god! I mean, freaking Burt Young, he nailed them. I don't know why they didn't make it, but
yeah.
I thought they were great. I thought he did awesome on those scenes.
No,
You
he
know,
did. He's known for the goofiness or the sarcasm. You know, here, hey, Paulie, who taught her to talk like that? She loves me.
she
Like,
loves me.
or like you said, or here's a good, I mean, quote of his. It's a partial scene, but it's sad. It goes to show you how he really felt about everything, and that's in Balboa. Um, when he when Rocky says, I remember in the good times, I mean, you had good times with her, Rock. I had the bad. And he was all upset about how he treated her. And he did. He
Right,
treated her like garbage, and he's saying that, and he can't fix it. She's gone. And
right.
he doesn't want to think about it, and Rocky wants to think about it because he had all the good. It was a sad, I don't want to say a sad life he led, because obviously he had a good life after the argument in Rocky 3. I mean, he did everything with Rock. Well, actually, after the argument with Rocky 3, he did everything with Rocky. He was in the corner every other time.
Right, right.
In Rocky 2, he was, things were fine with him, with the car and stuff. But Rocky 3, he had a little more jealousy in him, and oh, look, you fix your face up real nice, all handsome,
Yeah, yeah.
and he feels like he was being left back because Rocky moved Mickey in, not him. But part of it is, it's a sad part that he did. I mean, he drank so much. He was not very nice to Adrian for the most part.
Right.
I mean, his way of showing her love. Hey, yo, Mrs. Stallion, you almost look pretty good.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it's
Rocky
like
Five.
almost like a backhanded compliment. It's kind of sad, but he poured his heart into that role. I'll tell you that.
He sure did. A lot of great memories. I mean, it's just you never forget him. You never. He is such an integral part of the whole series. You know, without
Oh God,
him,
absolutely.
you know,
No, it's somebody else couldn't play. I mean, he was nominated for Academy Award, Best Supporting Actor,
yeah,
for the original. I mean, the whole cast was nominated with the exception of Carl Weathers, which I don't see how that got slipped by, but it did. I mean, but Sylvester Stallone, Best Actor, Talia Shire, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Burgess Meredith, and Burt Young, actually, but not Carl Weathers. I don't know where that went wrong. Um,
right.
but yeah, I mean, you know, the first time you see Paulie, first time you even meet him in the film world, I'm gonna break the freaking moron and broke this mirror.
Yeah,
He's in the
right.
bathroom trying to comb his hair, and there was a
Yeah.
sliver of mirror that's this big. It's the first
Yep.
time you see him. You
Yep.
know, when we let's see here, do we have any songs that would come to mind? We'll do the musical
Oh
segment.
boy. Yeah.
Any songs that come to mind when you think of him?
Oh boy. Why don't you go first? Because
Okay.
I'm coming up
But
with nothing at the
it was
moment.
it was definitely tough to try to come up with something because he really didn't have a song that was integral to him. Adrian
Right.
had her song. Mickey had his song. Um, Apollo, you got Living in America or the Marine Hymn. Obviously, Rockies. But
Mhm.
Paulie didn't really have anything. So the only one I could think of that made me think of Paulie as soon as I heard it was when it's called Butkus on the album, the original album score. The song is called Butkus, and Rocky's running down to Shamrock Meats, and he goes. That's when Paulie comes outside and he set up the interview and and tells him, don't breathe on me. It's like, my sister really likes you.
Yeah, right.
So I think Paulie with that. I mean, there's a so we won't get copyrighted. We'll do it this way. So this is what I think of when I think of Paulie. Kind of really not his song,
Yeah, yeah.
but kind of. And the only one I could think of outside of that was High Hopes from Balboa when they was walking into the ring. Because
Oh, I love Sinatra.
remember, yeah, that's what he said. He's like, I love Sinatra.
I love
Yeah,
Sinatra.
he's very good.
Yeah, yeah.
How about you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. Now that you jog my memory on High Hopes, I would go with that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's oh boy, it's tough because everything is so pinpointed towards a specific person, and poor
right.
Paulie never really had anything, which is quite an oversight. Now that we
Yeah.
go back and think
And you know
about
what's
this.
really crazy about it is I was looking, I have a book, Rocky Quotes. It's a little inspirational book. It's a small book.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm flipping through the book before we started recording, and they have Clubber Lang, they had Apollo, they had everybody. Paulie does not have one quote in there.
What?
And they were all life motivational quotes. So part of me
Okay,
understands it, because it's like he really didn't have many life motivational lines, but
right.
it could have been that line where he said, I want to step outside myself and be you. You're all
Yeah.
hard, Rock. You could have put that
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he didn't bring a lot of that I can think of at the top of my head at the
Yeah.
moment to motivational speeches other than that one that but he did show his soft side, when like
Oh, yeah.
Adrian started to go down in the pet shop.
Yep.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
He
Or
got
even in
really
the original, when she comes running up to the ring and she wants to get in the ring and Paulie's arguing with the
yes,
cop and she's like, Paulie just lifts up the ring rope and lets her
right,
in.
right.
It's so subtle. You don't even see it. He just lifts up the ring so she can go in and he's talking to the cop. I mean,
Right.
it's, he does care.
I
That's why
thought
I
one of
think,
the oh, I
no,
thought
go.
one of the best moments as far as like seeing him out of the snarly, snarky Paulie, you know, at the end of Rocky 2, when Rocky he's like really Paulie's like really rooting hard for Rocky. Come on, Rock, and at the end he's like he's just elated, and you
Yeah.
just to see the elation on Paulie's face. I just thought that
Yeah.
was I always see that from as an acting point from Burt to Paulie in the end of Rocky 2, just that elation that he brought
Yeah.
to that part of the movie. Just it was like almost to me like he almost felt like he did it himself as well.
Yeah. Well, it was his best friend. And like I said, he was his, brother and
Right.
brother-in-law, but he knew Paulie before he knew Adrian.
Yeah.
So, he and Paulie had his different, his obviously he was yin and yang as far as Rocky and Paulie. But
Yeah.
he I guess if I had to think of a song to summarize Burt Young, the actor, the painter, the
Ooh.
writer, the Italian from New York,
Yeah.
I would think of like an Italian aria, like almost like an opera in an Italian
Yeah.
restaurant type of song. Maybe go to
Yeah.
Adrian's restaurant, have a bowl of pasta, and you hear that music in the background. You think of him because he's such a well-rounded human being, a family man, a good actor, passionate. So if I had to think of something for him as a man, not Paulie the character.
Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely see that and kind of hear that. I mean, I'm not very familiar with opera. The Victor
Mhm.
Cafe plays that all the time, but yeah, I guess that's what the Victor was known for back in the day before it became
Yeah,
famous as well.
yeah. Well, they did it when I went. When I went with my daughter, they did do
Oh,
the
did they
singing.
do
Yeah,
the
yeah,
opera? Okay,
yeah. They
okay.
excuse me. They tell you up front when they sit you down so that you don't freak out. I guess when the whole staff starts singing, and they because they stop. So all the servers that are all around, they stop. They don't take orders. They don't run food. They don't do anything. They just stop and sing, and either like one or two or three of them sing at the same time, or just
Mhm.
one sang. We were there for
Oh,
I guess we were there for about 45 minutes to an hour.
that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it
Oh,
was
I'd
pretty
love to
cool. I
go.
mean, you're seeing live opera right in front of you. I mean, granted, a lot of these servers, that might be their way to get to be an opera
Mhm.
singer somewhere, or maybe they do that as well. I don't know, but they were good. They were good.
Wow,
So,
that's
yeah, it was pretty
incredible.
cool. So, see,
Yeah,
in 2026, when we do the Rocky Run for the 50th
yes,
anniversary, we have to make reservations and we go there.
right, right, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Um, but I can definitely I'll agree to that, like an Italian opera,
Yeah,
I for Bert,
yeah,
for Paulie, uh, I don't know.
yeah.
The night Chicago died,
I
I
mean,
don't
that is that is a tough one.
yeah, I mean,
Hey,
there was a
we
man
forgot one. We forgot. I got to backtrack. We forgot a trivia question. Well,
okay,
not
okay,
a trivia question. A trivia nugget. I don't know what you want to call it.
okay.
But there's a piece of trivia that we left out that we both had. We didn't even know about when we started recording.
Right.
We said, "What do you have and what do I have?" We both had the same thing. So Burt Young was not his real name,
That's correct.
and I did not know his real name until I read this. Did you know?
I did I had no clue. 'Cause I'm like, well, it's a pretty common Burt Young. It's like pretty common. It's not
I mean,
like
a lot of the
Clint
guys back then
Eastwood.
changed their names. A lot of them changed their names, and some of the names I could understand changing. It was a little crazy, but some of
Yeah.
them weren't really that bad, and they changed them to something that wasn't bad either. But I don't know. Back then they did a lot of that. But yeah, so his real name, born name, was Gerald Tommaso De Luise. So like Dom DeLuise, but
Which we
no
discussed.
relation, no relation. But yeah,
Right.
Gerald Tommaso DeLuise.
Yeah. That's really shocked me that he changed his name. I had no idea.
Yeah, and and a lot of times I do know this. I remember hearing a story, and I don't recall the actor, but oh, I do recall the actor. They were talking to Michael Caine, and he was doing the junket for one of his films, and they asked him
Mhm.
about his real name. And I apologize, I don't really know. I'll type it in as I'm talking to you guys, but he couldn't be his given name because at the time when they were acting back in the 40s and whatnot, his real name is Maurice Micklewhite. And
Really?
yeah, and get this though, this is the crazy part. So he said, "Well, I'll just do it, Maurice Joseph, which is his middle name." And they said, "No, there's already a Maurice Joseph in the Screen Actors Guild,
Really?
so he couldn't have that name." So he's like, "Well, my name is Michael." And then he said he's looking past the guy was asking what his name was, and the
Uh,
poster for the movie The Kane Mutiny was back there.
oh my God.
So he said it's Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And that's how he got his name. But
That's
I mean, the
crazy.
point of the story is maybe that's what happened with Burt Young. Maybe that's why he changed his name.
Who
I don't
knows?
know. Yeah, because I know it was common back in the 50s and 60s to change your
Right.
name.
Right. Did you
But
hear any of the details as far as like um where the he was going to be laid to rest or anything like that?
I did not. I did not.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I was kind of wondering, and I know I'm going to jump off a little off target here, but I was kind of wondering the same thing about Jimmy because I never heard anything with him as well.
No, and I looked over here because I was assuming it's going to be here in Florida somewhere, but I
Hmm.
haven't seen anything with that either.
I don't know if they're keeping it a secret or so that people don't flock or what,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they might. Um, yeah, I don't know. It says here. Well, it says here that we're already done. says
Oh,
here,
no kidding.
legend. Yeah, it says it was 3 days ago.
Okay.
um, yeah, they might have just kept it so it's family only and friends and
Right.
whatnot. They don't want a bunch of people there. I mean, I wouldn't go there to. You go there just to pay respects. I understand, but some people aren't respectful like that. So
Right.
it would
Right.
be, idiots.
True.
Um,
True.
I mean,
Well, you
actually,
know what? I'm
go ahead.
well, Burt, I want to let you know, Paulie, I did go out and I got a bottle of Four Roses
There you go.
because of you. Never
well,
heard of
well,
it prior to Rocky, but the stuff's pretty good. So in honor of Burt Young, Paulie Panino, you know, good
yep, yeah, I'm
stuff.
one of those. I get it. Definitely get it. I Yeah, I mean, because some people they don't respect that. There's long story short, a friend of mine. I grew up in the same town, and my mom was friends with his mom. But Steven Van Zandt, the guitarist for Bruce Springsteen, and
Yeah.
he was in The Sopranos as Silvio. So I know him. I know Stevie. And when his mother died, they went to the funeral because I knew Mary forever. And there's and there was a 5 or 6 or 8 people that were very well known. They got Paul Sirico, who played Paulie Walnuts. I mean, Tony
Mhm.
Sirico played Paul. Uh, uh, James Gandolfini. There
Yeah.
was, there was Bruce was there. Bruce Springsteen was there.
Mhm.
And you don't take pictures. You don't ask to do that. It's nonsense. And there was this one guy is walking up and asking them when everybody came outside of the funeral parlor and they were kind of milling around in the parking lot. He was going up to them. I'm like, come on, man. What do you do? What do
Really?
you do? How do you even ask that at that moment?
Was
You
he a
know?
gaster or paparazzi?
No, 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 no. He was. I don't know where he came from. He wasn't paparazzi. No,
Oh, jeez.
no. I mean, but
Wow.
there's just no way around thinking that's okay.
No,
Like if for some
no.
reason you want, say for sake of argument, Burt Young's funeral services were an hour away, and I wanted to go and pay my respects. Sly's there. As badly as I want to meet that man, there's no way on the planet I am going up to him at that moment. No way.
No.
It
No,
can't
at
happen.
at the very most, you know, I would try to extend a handshake,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry.
and very
My
I'm so
condolences.
deeply sorry, for your loss. Because
Yeah,
I'm sure that Burt was more than just a an actor from many movies. Like we've
right.
discussed before in the past, where you go through your phone book, you're like, oh yeah, I remember him. I remember. I'm
Yeah.
sure the way that they interacted together, I don't know this to be a fact, but I would, by looking at them, at the pictures, the way that the fondness they have of each other, almost the love that they have for each other.
Oh yeah.
I would
No.
I would think that there was more there than just like, because we've heard the stories like, yeah, I acted with this guy in this movie or this whatever, but we don't talk. We
Right.
never talk. We don't keep in touch.
Right.
I'm sure I would bet $1,000,000 that they somehow or other was
Well,
more
he
than
is
that.
even Burt Young has even said on a couple of interviews on how close they all were on in the Rocky films.
Hmm.
I heard him say, from Rocky on, each film was like every 2 years they were making a Rocky film, pretty much
Hmm.
2 to 3. And they became very close. He said. I mean, you do actually one of the things that is another tidbit where I'm going to guess 50% of the people know and 50% of people don't know. But Burt Young and Talia Shire were actually a little bit of a item during the Rocky filming. They were dating each other.
Okay, well, I'm on the other 50 because I had no idea. I
They,
did not have a clue on that
they
one.
no, they both said it themselves. They didn't. It's not like you could. I mean, you could read about it, but I watched a making of Rocky documentary, and they both said it themselves.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah. I can't believe you didn't know that. That surprised me. You know
I
everything about it.
I did not know. I mean, but as far as not knowing it, but I'm trying to picture it. I mean, I think I'm not seeing the connection, but whatever,
Yeah,
whatever works.
yeah. Exactly.
But then again,
Exactly.
when you
Well,
see him as brother and sister,
hey, I know.
it's kind of
You're
like
like,
Greg
hey,
and
what are you
Marsha.
doing? I know
Yeah,
it's so funny. We see them as a character, not as
yeah.
the person. That's hysterical. But
Like that
yeah,
old, like I
unfortunately,
just said
this what's
with
that?
Greg and Marsha Brady.
Yeah,
Greg and Marsha.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
don't see it, but it was there.
It was there. Oh, that's crazy. Well, Mr. Young, you gave us plenty of films to remember you by and Paulieisms to quote. We could always, watch them from time to time in
Yeah.
any of the Rocky films, and of course some of the others. And actually, our movie of the week segment. Let's go back there where we got that. See, well, movie of the week. Here we go.
There it is.
I'm gonna put up there. Yep. I'm not gonna do a Rocky because that would be. I mean, I watch them every other day anyway. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Mickey Blue Eyes, a very obscure 90s or early 2000s movie with Hugh Grant
Hugh Grant.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Hugh Grant falls in love with this mob boss's daughter, and Hugh Grant is that English skinny, you
Yeah.
know, there's no Italian or mob guy in him
No.
whatsoever.
Right.
And some I don't remember the whole story. That's why I'm going to go back and watch it. It's hysterical. But they try to make him Mickey Blue Eyes, this mob guy,
Okay.
and so he's trying to do. There's a scene where they're trying to teach him how to say "forget about it," and he's like, forget about it, forget it's." But Burt Young plays one of the mob bosses in the film, and it's
Okay.
and he's very good in it, very funny. But it has a lot of very funny scenes in there. That's what I'm going to go check out. I haven't seen that in 20 years, so I'm going to definitely watch that this week.
Wow. So I've never seen Mickey Vice, but I will. I definitely want to watch that now. And Back to School. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
How can you go wrong?
that's another one. I haven't seen that in probably 30 years, if not more.
I know, right? It's
So
been
that's a good
forever.
choice to pick as well.
I mean, we're coming up. Let me ask you this question. Here's a completely unrelated. Imagine that. So we're getting dark at about 5:30.
You are?
Yeah. How about you guys?
It's still light out right now. And it's 6:41.
It's pitch black outside.
It's still light outside.
Oh
But
my
you remember now
God.
the sun, sets in the east. I mean, sets in the west. So I don't know. Maybe it. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Well,
I'm
was it 2 weeks from now? We fall behind, right, with the
yeah.
clocks.
I'm thoroughly convinced that Syracuse has got this gray cloud over top of it. All of New
I mean,
York, anyway.
the sun will probably set by 7, so about 20 minutes from now. Well, yeah,
Stop
that's the
it.
thing about up there by the north. Everything is overcast and gray and
Yeah.
cold and all that fun
I was
stuff.
just curious because I'm looking, I'm like, it is pitch black outside. And I was wondering, well, you're just down the coast. What's it
Pretty
like?
much a straight line, right? That straight
Um,
line south.
we're dying up here. I got 2 watches.
I got to watch. Oh,
It's funny.
all righty, my
Whenever,
friend.
like when Deb and I will go to a store or something like that, and she'll ask me, she's like, "Hey, here's a, I don't know, whatever. Here's a set of headphones. You need a set of headphones?" I'm like, I got a set of headphones. I got 2 headphones. We do it to each other all the time. It's
It's
just
so funny when he says it.
it's a
Well, because the
Paulie
one
humor.
watch was remember when he threw it on the ground.
Yeah, and
The
he kicked
stupid
it.
X-Lax watch.
Yeah, leave it down.
Never kept good time anyway.
Right. Paulie, we
Uh,
love you. Bert, you're the best. We just love
absolutely.
you, Bert.
Absolutely. He'll be missed, but like I said, he'll be around forever.
Yes, he will.
All of his films, he'll be around forever. And people generations from now can enjoy him like we did. He'll never
Yes.
go anywhere, so that's good. But yes, we will miss him. It was a sad day and unfortunate for Rocky Land. But we thank him for everything he's done. And check out one of his films as soon as you can.
They certainly wouldn't have been the same without him.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Still
All
blows
righty,
my
my
mind.
friend. Until
Let me
next
tell
week.
you, blows my mind.
I
Blows my
know.
mind.
I know it does. Yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta stop getting old because we're getting old. All the other ones are getting old. It's too
I
much.
know.
Too much.
I know.
But all right, my friend. Until next week. I'll see everybody
You got
next
it,
week.
buddy.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Go watch a Burt Young movie.
Yes, please do so.
All right, we'll see everybody. Oh no, this is